I guess after a TV show like this, if anybody wanted to reboot Harry Potter for the future generation, they would adaptate it in TV show form. That way they could show all of the book to keep the fans that were dissatisfied with the movie adaptations form, not including everything from the books, happy. His Dark Materials Season 1 is the first BBC TV show adaptation of Philip Pullman's timeless book trilogy, His Dark, of the same name. His Dark Materials Season 1 tells the story. If you've seen the Golden Compass movie, you all know the story. It's the exact same plot of the Golden Compass movie, only it follows the structure of the book a little more closely. Lyra, a girl living in a parallel universe in which people have furry friends as their souls that they call demons, as she goes on an epic quest from Jordan College in her Oxford to the north to rescue her kidnapped friend Roger, while discovering some unthinkable revelations about her parents, and she becomes the a bearer of the alethiometer, also known as the Golden Compass, and uh, and she has no idea that she is destined to meet with a boy from our world, Will, and they will both save the universe from the wrath of the Magisterium, or the Authority, and this is based on the first book in Philip Pullman's trilogy known as Northern Nights or the Golden Compass, depending on what you call it. Of course, the book trilogy this show is based on is easily one of the top three best book trilogies ever written in my eyes, and it can easily go toe to toe with the Lord of the Rings trilogy by J.R.R. Tolkien for that title. And we were originally going to get a proper movie trilogy adaptation of these books. So when they attempted it back in 2007 with the underrated the Golden Compass. I mean, at least I find it highly underrated, but sadly, not everybody feels the same way as it was as it received. Well. Various responses at best, and was one of the biggest fantasy flops in movie history, especially in the US. So sadly, the Subtle Knife and Amber Spyglass movies were cancelled. And it seemed for 12 years we would never see another visual version until in 2019 the good old BBC came along and they thought, if the fans are not interested in seeing this story told as a movie series, maybe they would like it better to be told as a TV show. That way, it can more closely resemble the books, and while still while with a few tweaks in there to add to the story. And if you saw my thoughts on the first trailer for this season all the way back last year, yeah, you know I was at first against the idea of rebooting it as a TV show. I thought, no, that this is never going to be the same as the movie that I grew up with from my childhood. Why can't you just give us the Subtle Knife and Amber Spyglass movies instead? But you know what, I still watched this show. I saw all 8 episodes, and I gave it a chance to see how it would compare as a adaptation to the Golden Compass movie. And while I may be in the vast minority as somebody who still would prefer to watch the movie, I have to say, uh, this is still a great show on the whole. It is loads better than I predicted it would be, and I do applaud the BBC for uh, for getting us talking about his Dark Materials again after all the studios were putting off the idea of ever revisiting this story again. I may not have agree with all the writing decisions that this show made, but this is still most one of the most epic and best BBC shows in goodness knows how many years. I always love a good, grand BBC fantasy drama to look forward to during winter time, and we haven't had that in donkey's years. So I think that Daphne Keane has completely grown as one of the most remarkable British young actresses now. I mean, I mean she she was electrifying as Lara in Logan, and she is a solid follow-up to Dakota Blue Richards as Lyra. She is just as feisty as Dakota Blue Richards was, and James McAvoy makes for a surprisingly deep Lord Asriel when he gets more to do than Daniel Craig's version of the character did, and it was interesting how they portrayed Lee Scoresby as far younger in the show than they did in the movie. But you know what? He turns out to be, you know, a classic Western hero in this show, and even Yurick, they did him so well in terms of CGI, especially by BBC TV standards. He looks just as incredible as he did in the movie, and his armor looks pretty closer to how it did in the movie, except there's no gold on it. But the best performance of the entire cast would have to go to Ruth Wilson as Mrs. Coulter. She greatly surprised me. She is on par with Nicole Kidman as this character, and they gave Mrs. Coulter black hair in this version like she has in the book, and Ruth Wilson, she made Mrs. Coulter, you know, a character who comes off as extremely sinister and mysterious, but at the same time caring and sympathetic, and as somebody who just wants to be with her daughter, and every single scene with Mrs. Coulter was the best scene in the show for me, and Mrs. Coulter got more scenes in the show than she did in the movie, which I applaud the show for doing. I appreciated that, and there's even stuff that they've added into the show that we never saw in the movie, or I don't think even the book, where this guy who works for the Magisterium, Lord Bogroff, I think his name is, he steps through a time window into our world, and they surprisingly include Will's storyline early, because in the books Will never appeared in the Golden Compass. He doesn't appear until the Subtle Knife, that's one of the changes I disagree with this show for doing. I don't think Will needed to appear in this season, because that makes the narrative a little clunky. You know, the Golden Compass was supposed to be all Lyra's story. Will wasn't supposed to get his story until the Subtle Knife, but it was unnecessary to show the opening events of the Subtle Knife in a season that's supposed to be telling the story of the Golden Compass. I do like that this show has a focus, and season 1 is the Golden Compass, season 2 will be the Subtle Knife, and season 3 will be the Amber Spyglass, though they have yet to start filming season 3, of course, due to the pandemic. But the script for season 3, I've heard, has been written, and season 3 is the one I am most anticipating, as the Amber Spyglass is my personal favourite book in the trilogy. But yeah, just including some things from the Subtle Knife in this season kind of took away from that focus for me. But back to the positives, I do like the design of the demons. I think this show has some of the most sensational CGI in a BBC show, period. Well, of course it would. It's 2019, and I love the design of the Alethiometer, of the demons, of Lyra's parallel world. I mean, the BBC, they did a tremendous job of making this world, feel as epic as a Philp Pullman portrays, and they all the restricted TV budget that they had, and this show is just a tad darker than the movie. The movie was rated PG, whereas this show is 12A content, so they explore some of the darker elements of the book, like Billy Costa, the boy who had his demon cut out at Bolvanger. When Lyra brings him back to his mother, Billy sadly passes away due to having lost his demon, and they show Billy's funeral. It's such a poignant, haunting moment, and I mean, I wouldn't have minded a moment like that in the movie. And this show, it is 8 episodes long, so they can show literally all of the book. The movie was only 2 hours, but this show is literally 6 hours longer. It's 8 nearly hour long episodes, and though I do think this show, it did take even longer to get started, to get to the exciting action than the movie did. I mean, the first 3 episodes of this season are the slowest to sit through, but after that, once they get to Trollsland and Uric and the North, that's when this season totally finds its footing. And though I will say where the movie has this show beat is the action scenes. I do think the bear fight and the battle at Bolvanger were more impressive to behold in the movie than they were in the show, but that's not too much of a detriment to the show. I know the show doesn't have the full $180 million budget that the movie has, and also they did change they did call the Bear King and Uric's rival King Ulfgar, whereas in the movie they changed his name to Ragnar. So I think fans of the book will breathe a sigh of relief that they got his name right. Theme song and soundtrack for the opening titles of this show, I have to say, is awesome. The da 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 da. Yeah, it feels like it feels otherworldly, and it helps you remember that you are watching his Dark Materials whenever you hear that theme. My personal favourite episode of this season would go to no contest, the season 1 finale, Betrayal. The part, the heartbreaker of the book when Lyra does reunite with her father, Lord Asriel, but he then betrays her, takes Roger away and kills Roger so that he can use Roger to open a portal to another world. I mean, God, that was such a bold finale. I mean, for them to show that, I mean, I mean, they did film that ending for the movie, but it sadly never made the final cut, and that's my number one criticism of the movie. It should have, been daring enough to show that ending, but thankfully we finally got to see that ending in this show, and and it really it's really the beginning of Lyra coming of age as a and it's really the turning point in the story where the stakes get raised to the next level. Uh, so overall, sure, fans of the books may explode for me saying this, but even if I still like the Golden Compass movie better. And His Dark Materials is not a perfect show, but it is still a marvelous one that has grown on me the more I think about it, and I am loving season 2 even more currently, and I shall get my thoughts out on season 2 as soon as I have seen all of it, and boy, am I intrigued to see the direction they take as season 3.
I give His Dark Materials season 1 4 stars out of 5. Great show.
So sorry my review is a year late, but I didn't get enthusiastic about the show really, and I wasn't. I hadn't confirmed my overall thoughts on it until now, until season 2. Well, I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. And what are your thoughts on His Dark Materials season 1? Please comment and let me know. Please like this video and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and on Instagram. And I'll see you next time. And remember, movies are us. Bye, guys.